We've got so many bloody books to talk about in this video, and I've got 30% charge on my microphone, so let's just get straight into it. So today I'm going to go through everything I read in July. July was a crazy month for me. I read more books than I usually read, but none of them were like my favourite reads ever. I enjoyed them all, but none was spectacular. And then I've got some book mail to go through with you. I've not opened it yet, so we're going to open them together, hence my little scissors. They're not mine, they're my kids', but I borrowed them because why not? And then I'm going to talk to you briefly about books that I plan on reading in August. So let's get straight into it. In no particular order, these are just piled up because I leave them up here to remind me what I've read, and then we talk about them together. Please, in the comments, tell me what your favourite book was in July. I am going to start with talking about this one. So this is Chris Carter's Hunting Evil, which is part of the Robert Hunter series. It's a police procedural crime thriller-esque book. I've spoke about it before, and I bloody love this series. So I've spoken in the past about how these books can be read as standalones, but how I recommend personally that you read them in chronological order when they were released. And this book is the example of why you should read them in order, because this story follows a serial killer that the department have already caught in the past, but he's managed to escape prison. That's not really a spoiler because it tells you on the back of the book. And because I've already read all these books in order, I think this is book 9 or 10, I had met this serial killer in the past. I know how mental he is. He's absolutely batshit crazy. And from page 1, I was literally like, Robert, catch him, get him back in prison, or shoot him or something. And I feel like if you went into this as a standalone, you'd still understand it, but you wouldn't want the police to catch him as much as I wanted the police to catch him. So this was really good. I'm definitely going to be picking up the next book soon because I just need it. But please, 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 if you are going to start reading Chris Carter, just try and read them in order. I feel like it makes more sense. And book 1 and 2, I believe, are now officially on Kindle Unlimited. I also read Stephen King's Fairy Tale in July, and I really enjoyed this. The first 30% and the last 70% almost feel like two completely separate books. The first 30% is the main character, Charlie. There's this old crazy dude who lives at the top of the street. You know, like everyone, when we were kids, you always spoke about that one weird person. You're like, oh, them dirty tramps at the top of the street, they'll eat your kids. Don't go near them. They will literally like blend you down into child soup and suck you through a straw. Like that's what everyone talks about, how everyone talks about Mr. Burdish, I think his name was, Bowditch. And Charlie goes past his house one day and Mr. Bowditch is in the back garden going, help, help, I think I've hurt my leg. And Charlie goes in the background and he's like, oh, Mr. Bowditch, don't eat me, but I'll help you. And anyway, he helps him, they build a relationship. It's really, really cute, really, really like, just makes your heart warm and fuzzy and stuff. Then something happens and then Charlie goes into this portal and goes into this fantasy world, and then it feels like a completely different book. It's got all sorts of fantastical elements, and it's not like any Stephen King I've read in the past. But I will say, coming from someone that's read a fair bit now of epic fantasy, the fantasy elements of the book were very average. Nothing to shout home about. I feel like if you've read a lot of Stephen King but not touched his fantasy stuff, you'll really enjoy this. If you read epic fantasy, I wouldn't start with this as your first ever Stephen King books. I feel like you'll just compare it to fantasy books and you'll be like, that's so bang average. But I really enjoyed it and I think you should read it. Next up, we've got my most complicated read of the month, which was Gardens of the Moon by Christian. His name's not Christian, it's Steven. It says it on fucking book. Steven Erikson. This was a buddy read that I did with Macaulay. It was very confusing. I probably messaged Macaulay about 50 times, sending him video voice note things going, dude, what's happening here? Or I'd tell him what I think's happening and then he'd come back and correct me. I don't know if I'm going to continue this series. I finished book 1 and I got 300 pages into book 2. It's fantastic in a sense that the writing's brilliant. You can just tell it's a properly well-written fantasy book. It's got so many different races, it's got different cultures, it's got religious aspects, it's got amazing characters, it's got wars, but you also need to properly think about this book. You're chucked into deep end, almost back end actually, of a war, and you're not expected to know what's happening, but you're expected to be patient and wait to be told what's happening. So I don't think I understood really what were happening in this book until I probably got 2/3 of the way through it. And that bothered me. It made the first 2/3 of the book quite stressful and less enjoyable than a book where an author maybe holds my hand a little bit and explains to me what on earth is happening. It's got everything. Like I said, dragons, there's magic, there's time-travelling portal things called warrens. These warrens can also be a source of magic. It's so intricate. I feel like if you are into epic fantasy and you want to challenge yourself to one of the most complex books you're ever going to read, you should definitely read it and just see what you think, because I really enjoyed book one, but I think that's because Macaulay made me understand it. I'm not sure I'd have finished it without Macaulay. I then got into book two. I got that far into it, about 300 pages, and then I needed a bit of a break. So I ended up picking up a different book, and I've just not found the energy or need or want to come back to Deadhouse Gates. So I'm not sure if I'm going to carry it on. But it's not because the book's bad. It's just because I feel like it's maybe a little bit too epic fantasy for my liking. And that's why reading's subjective, innit? You know, I do like epic fantasy, but I also like my handheld a little bit. And I like to kind of understand what's going on. I don't like the mystery of what's going on, because I'm a nosy bastard. I just want to know all the time. I don't want to have to wait. So, yeah, that's just my take on it. Next up, I read Jim Butcher. This is called The Dresden Files, Stormfront, and this is book one. It's a series about a wizard PI detective. So it's urban fantasy. He lives in, I think he's America, from what I remember. And he investigates supernatural stuff. So he's almost got like an ad in Yellow Pages where basically normal people can ring up and be like, I think there's something weird going on at my house. Like, lights keep flicking on and off. There might be a ghost. And he's like, oh, I'll come round and see it. That doesn't actually happen in book, but I'm just trying to set a scene. It reminded me of Charmed. You know the TV series? You either watched Charmed as a kid or Buffy, but I actually watched both because I was like, I'm just greedy. You don't get this size without being greedy. And it just reminded me of that. It's this dude just trying to find demons and vampires and stuff. It was really good. I would say some people might struggle with this because the main character he is like the epitome of misogyny. A lot of the descriptions from his perspective, in his mind, when it comes across women, women are very sexualized. He talks about the physical appearance and the way they make him feel. But I am told that Harry Dresden's one of the best characters in modern fantasy and that he has a really good arc throughout the stories. So I'm guessing he's going to be working on some stuff, because I think he has got some issues that he needs to work through. I really enjoyed it. I'd probably rate it like 4-star. I don't tend to get too hooked on star ratings. Maybe 3.5. 3.5, 4 stars. It was a good book, really good book. And I am excited to get further into the series, but I'm just not in a mad rush to pick up book two. Stephen King. So that's 2 Stephen King books I read this month. Pet Sematary. I've spoken about this before. Really enjoyed it. It follows a family who move into woods in an area where there's this sort of weird pet cemetery, and there's all sorts of like supernatural stuff going on there. But it's more than that. It's a story about how selfish humans can be, the kind of depths of depravity, I suppose, that we go through to bring back loved ones, and how selfish we can be. There's some really good relationships in it between the main character and this old dude that lives across the road from him. I forgot what his name is. We'll just call him Old Man John. His name's not actually Old Man John, but I'm just going to call him that because his name's not on backup book. But really good. Really enjoyed this. And so far, this is my favourite Stephen King book that I have ever read. That's like good praise, isn't it? Percival Everett. James. This is the second book of his that I've read. Really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's a nice book. I said this in my last video. A few people said to me, oh, I enjoyed this. It was really good, really nice. Not nice. It talks about slavery and the things that happened during slavery. And one of the things that it goes into a little bit is the sexualization of women. I think some people would find it quite hard to read, but stuff like that did happen. At the heart of it, there is a nice story, a story of friendship between Jim and Huck Finn. If you've already read the original story, which I hadn't, which I think added to the story because I didn't know what was coming, but if you've already read the story, you're either going to love it or hate it because you're going to think it's better or worse than the original. So if you want to read that, I think it's relatively new as well. Might have come out this year or year before. I also read He Who Fights with Monsters this month because Macaulay told me to. You will probably see Macaulay in the comments on this video. It's his favourite book of all time, and he said to me, you need to read it. He actually bought me this off my Amazon wishlist, so I was like, all right, let's read it together. So we did a buddy read, and I really enjoyed it. The only things that let it down a little bit for me was the writing. The writing's really, really poor. And the middle bit of the book just dragged on a little bit. It seemed like during the middle part of the story, it just wasn't progressing. They were just going around doing bounties and everything. But the positives, Jason, the main character, I really liked. I love the progression, like the way that the game mechanics work within it, because it's lit RPG, so there's a progression element when it comes to leveling up and new loot and character builds. I really enjoyed that. the actual story itself as a whole, the plot was really good, and I am excited to get into book 2. I just didn't love it as much as Macaulay does because it's his favourite book of all time. So we'll see. I feel like the further I get into the story, maybe the more I will let the things that I didn't love slide, because the writing was bad. But you'll understand, it's more the dialogue within it. So there's bits in it where it'll be like dialogue, and then it'll say Jason said, and then another bit of dialogue and the other character said, and then another Jason said. You get what I'm pointing at? Like, it just, the author didn't seem to have a good grasp of how to write dialogue without just he said, she said all the time, and that just grated on me a little bit. So I think that's everything. Oh, I read one more book. I've just finished it yesterday or the day before. It's another little RPG, and it was called One More Last Time by Eric Ugland, and it's part of the Good Guys series. So that is another little RPG, very similar to Dungeon Crawler Call, He Who Fights with Monsters. It's about regular... So basically, chapter 1, this bloke is in his apartment and he's about to send himself to Jesus because he's done some stuff. You don't know what he's done, but there's basically like people outside his house with guns and stuff. He's talking about how he's just going to die. And then all of a sudden, this pop-up comes on his emails, and it's like, would you like a last chance at life? Do you want to come into this fantasy world? And he's like, yes, please. Great, let me in. And then he goes into this fantasy world, and there's his second chance. So you're living with this dude who felt like he had nothing to live for on Earth, and he's been given another chance at life in a progressive fantasy world, and then it progresses. I'm going to try not to give too much away. The characters in here I personally really liked. I thought it was better written than He Who Fights with Monsters. A lot shorter as well. It's about 300 and something pages, so I felt like everything moved relatively quick. It didn't feel like it was unnecessarily dragged out. I thought the actual mechanics within the game were really good. I liked the loot system. I don't really think there was anything I disliked about this. So I am excited to see where it goes. But what excites me more about this series is that there's another series that the author did called The Bad Guys. So you've got the good guys and the bad guys. And I think each book's got something like 12 or 16... Each series, sorry, has got like 12 or 16 books in. And then towards the middle/end of each series, they start to interlink and the characters start mixing together, which I think is a cool concept. So I'm really excited to read that. Breathe, Tyrone. So we've spoke about everything that I've read this month. We're now going to go into a little bit of book mail, and then I'll talk to you about what I'm planning on reading this month. Right, let's go through this couple of purchases that I got recently. I found this at a charity shop, Piranesi. I've seen it all over BookTube, so I picked it up. It was 50p, I think, and it were immaculate. It's like literally a brand new book. I don't really know what to expect from it. I'm just told it's one of the best fantasy books of all time, and it's a standalone, and I don't think there's enough standalone fantasy books out there. Too many authors seem to think that everybody wants epic fantasy books that stretch over like 10 books, which I don't mind one of them in background, but trilogies are fine for me. I'm very, very happy to read standalones. So, authors, more standalones, please. I'm not going to go into blurbs and stuff like that, because you can read blurbs online. I don't know what it's about. I don't know if it's good, but it's rated really highly, and everyone says it's class. So, if you want to read it, just do it. Terry Pratchett. I have read 2 Terry Pratchett books. The Colour of Magic, I think it was called, book 1. And Mort. I preferred Mort. Mort was a really cool story about this dude who wants an apprenticeship and he can't get one, and then he ends up having like an apprenticeship for Death. Death's just an absolutely kick-ass character, and I love the humour in that book. I feel like the writing was better in Mort as well. You can see that Terry Pratchett at that point had progressed in his writing career. The reason I picked this up, it's called Going Postal, is 2 reasons. Firstly, I saw it at a charity shop and it was £1, so I was like, why not? And secondly, I can't remember which content creator it was, but I watched one of them videos where other content creators talk about their favourite book characters of all time. And the main character in this story, firstly, his name's just batshit, is Moist von Lipwig, and he's a con artist, and someone said that this character was one of the favourite characters in any modern fantasy books. So I believe it's about this con artist who's trying to work with the post office to try and make it run better. I might be completely wrong on that, but I picked it up because I'm very character driven, and I think I like it because Terry Pratchett's funny. Like, I just like his humour, and the story sounds mental. Another reason I picked it up is because if you are a fan of Terry Pratchett, you'll know that he famously doesn't like chapters. I love chapters in books, and this is one of his few books that's actually got chapters in it. So the only reason I love chapters in books is because I like to go to sleep at an end of a chapter. And if a book doesn't have chapters, then I don't know when to go to sleep. So yeah, just a personal choice. Right, let's go into book mail. This is a book that's been sent to me actually by Bloomsbury. So Bloomsbury reached out and basically said, can we send you this book? It's a new book, it's due out at end of year. And I said, yeah, please, I'll have a free book. So that's why it's here, and that's why you're seeing it. They don't pay me to do this, they just give me a free book and I'll talk to you about it. So it's called Daughter Assassin Traitor by a first-time author, I think. I don't believe that she's written any other books before. Her name is Sarah Mughal Rana. And other than opening the book and reading the blurb, I ain't got a clue what this book's about, so she'll read it together. It says it doesn't even say fire, it says Dawn of the Firebird, book 1 in a stunning epic fantasy trilogy by an unmissable new voice in the genre. Oh, I'm out of breath. It's hard work talking, when you're overweight. The discarded daughter of an emperor, Camilla Zarzad, is raised with her mother's nomadic tribe until a violent raid ends that peaceful life. Amid the chaos of death, the heavenly magic of Nur awakens within her. So I'm guessing she's got like a hidden magic. Camilla suddenly goes from outsider to weapon, finally accepted into her father's court. Now worthy, she trains in combat and poisons, pledging loyalty to his throne. But when her clansmen are defeated by a rival empire, Camilla vows lasting vengeance as she escapes. However, Camilla is not alone, for something shadows her, feeding her darkness. Hiding her identity, Camilla infiltrates the enemy's army academy. She studies jinn, magic and martial arts from cutthroat mystic monks in a bid to down an empire from within. That just sounds phenomenal, doesn't it, really? Sounds like you've got like a typical culture in I don't even know where it's set. I would guess it's probably got cultural inspirations from like the Middle East, because the author is a Muslim, and I only know that because she messaged me and told me about this book and she had a hijab on. So I'm just guessing that her family, maybe, I think she's in England now, she lives in England, so her family have emigrated, but I would hope at least that she has used some like culture from where a family emigrated from, because I love that. I love reading about different cultures. I love when other cultures inspire literature. I think that's fantastic. So it seems like it's very culturally stereotypical, we'll say, where she almost wasn't taken seriously by her dad because she didn't have magic powers and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden she's got magic powers and her dad's like, oh, now I love you, now we can work together. And she's like, oh, Dad, I've always wanted you to just respect me and just accept me. And then she's going to go to this sort of like magic school and infiltrate them and learn magic and martial arts and stuff. So that to me is everything that I would want in a book. I love an academia setting where they go to like schools and martial arts colleges and they learn stuff. So I don't know if it's good. Again, it sounds good. I just haven't read it. Right, we've got some book mail now. So, oh, and they sent me these as well. They're cute, aren't they? And a nice little card that says Bookish Dad on it. And they sent me some, what are they called? Them incense sticks. My wife's had them all over our house, honestly. It's like being on stars in their eyes, just smoke everywhere. I'm like, tonight, Matthew. So yeah, thanks for incense sticks. Let's see if I can open this in one. I did. Go on then. Yes, Amazon. So I think I already know who these are from. And I want to talk about her, actually. So I got a message the other day from Ray, who hopefully will watch this video, and she'll comment on it. And she reached out to me and she basically said, can you put, I can't remember what the thing was called, but she basically said, on your links, can you put this thing that isn't an Amazon wish list, because I really want to support you and I can't use your Amazon for some reason. So I just said, look, I don't like putting things like buy me a coffee and stuff on my page because it just feels entitled, it feels cheeky, and I try my best to make sure that all my content is accessible for everyone, because especially the mental health stuff, I don't believe anything like that should be hid behind a paywall. I don't want people to pay to view my content and stuff. So she's like, no, I understand that, but just add this thing and it'll mean that I can buy your books. So I basically did. I was like, look, I'm trying to play the nice guy, but if you're going to keep asking me, I'll put it on and you can buy me some books because I love books. So I added it onto my page and she went on and she bought me multiple books, and then we had a chat over message and she made me cry. She did. You know, I love a good cry, but she really, really made me cry. So after she'd bought the books, it sent me a notification that she'd bought me some books, and I just sent her a quick video just saying, I've got the notification, so I just want to say a massive thank you. And then she messaged me back, and we had a lot of nice backwards and forwards, and she was saying how my channel helps her a lot, and how the mental health stuff like reaches a lot more people than I think. And that really upset me, because a lot of the time when I talk about my mental health struggles and things like that, I often feel like I'm not doing enough and like I'm not helping enough people. So I got really upset when I was messaging it, and I just said I really want to say thank you, because there's been many a times when I've contemplated just cancelling everything, not doing my YouTube, not doing any other social media and stuff, because I don't think it's always good for my mental health. But one thing that is and always has been good for my mental health is knowing that I help others. So when she reached out, and she was in an outreach centre of sort, she is struggling herself at the minute, and she was in a cabin in the woods, and she was talking to me about how much I'd helped her and how much I've helped her be able to reach out and give her the courage to accept that she needs help. And that really, really, really upset me, but in a really, really meaningful way, because only that morning I was talking to my wife and I just said, look, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this social media stuff, because I love reading books. I don't need to come online and talk about them. And my main purpose for starting up my social media was for the mental health stuff. I wanted to come online and talk to people about mental health and let people know that it's okay to not be okay, that there's places that you can go and reach out and stuff. And that message that Ray sent me just reinforced the importance of me carrying on and doing social media and talking about mental health. So yeah, it was really, really upsetting, but in all the best ways possible. So I just wanted to say, Ray, because I know you're going to watch this video, that I'm so, so, so proud of you. And I know I've said this on this video before, but I want the world to know that I'm proud of you. And I want other people to reach out and say how proud they are of you as well. It's not easy reaching out and getting help, but it saved my life. And I know it's going to save yours too. It's so hard talking about these things, because I know that I'm not alone. I know that Ray's not alone. There's a lot of people out there that struggle with mental health and don't know what to do. But there's always somewhere to go, whether it be your local doctors, whether it be charities. There are so many fantastic charities out there, like Mind, Women's Aid. You know, my wife has used Women's Aid in the past because she was from an abusive relationship in the past. I myself have used Mind. I work closely with a company in Wakefield called Man Matters. You've got Andy's Mind Club, which is all over the country now. I don't know if it's all over the world. But if you are struggling with mental health, even reaching out to a friend, to me, you know, if you jump into my Instagram inbox, I always reply, especially when it comes to mental health. If someone says I'm struggling, I always do a video reply, because that matters to me. You know, books and everything like that is brilliant. It's all good talking about books, but when it comes to mental health, that matters more. So if ever you're struggling, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to give you places that you can go. But, and I know it sounds cliche, and I keep saying it in every video, but every single bad day that you've had in the past, you beat, and you're going to beat every single bad day that you've had in future. You matter. Every single one of you matter. And I just think it's important that we start talking more openly about mental health. So, Ray, I know I keep saying it, I'm so sorry. I'm so proud of you. Everyone in here is proud of you. And if anyone watches this and you're struggling, please reach out and get help. Ray bought me this, of Blood and Fire. I've actually already read it, but I loved it so much that I put it on my wish list because I want to collect the series. This is a fantasy book. It's epic fantasy. It's the first in a series. I've told you before, it's on Kindle Unlimited. The first book's also on the Audio Plus catalogue, so if you listen to books, then you can listen to it for free as part of your Audible Plus catalogue. I think it's best that you go into this completely blind. It's like everything you'd ever want from a fantasy book, but you're going to have to trust me. Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cale, that's what it's called, is a well worth read. He was independently published initially, but the book was that good that I think he then got picked up by a publisher because, yeah, they realised that they were going to make some bank off him, so they did. Next up, we've got, let's see if I can do this without you seeing my home address. Not that I think any of you are psychos and stuff, but my wife's got security concerns, and I am here to try and make sure she feels secure. Got a Ring doorbell today to try and keep all the loons out. I don't know what's in here, so we'll see. Oh, there's multiple books in here. Let's see what she's got me. Oh, yes, go on, lass. So these are all from Ray as well. Dead Zone by Stephen King. I'm not going to read the blurb. I don't know what it's about. It was on my wish list, so I know from reading the blurb that I've put it on there in the past, but I forgot what it's about because my memory's terrible. I've told you that already. If you've read it, tell me what you thought. And these ones, I've been excited to try and get into these. I don't know if you can see because it's shine. It's the Mr. Mercedes trilogy by Stephen King. So I think it starts with Mr. Mercedes, then goes Finders Keepers, then End of Watch. I added these to my wish list because somebody bought me off my Amazon wish list the week before last or last week, Holly by Stephen King. And then I got a lot of messages saying, please don't read Holly until you've read these three because it follows a detective agency and Holly's one of the characters in that. And Holly's just a better book if you've read these first. So, Ray, thank you so much, mate. I truly appreciate you. As I've said in the past, I wouldn't have all the books I've got on my shelves behind me if it weren't for fantastic people like you, for book publishers and things like that. You know, I ain't got all the money in the world. I've got enough money to make sure my kids are clothed and fed and they get everything that I wish I'd had in life as a kid. But I'm far from rich. I live in a council house. You know, it is what it is. Look, I'm not pleading poverty. I'm certainly not poor, but I just feel like I've personally, as a dad, got more important things to do than go out and buy £10 books. So most of my books come from charity shops and stuff. And it always makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside when I get gifted free books, like new books, because it's not very often that I walk out of a bookshop with a brand new book and that new book smell and stuff. So it does bring me a lot of joy. So today, Ray, you are my reason for joy. And you were yesterday because we spoke yesterday and the day before. So yeah, keep making me happy, but not by buying me books. Just have conversations with me and stuff will be good with that. So that sort of stuff that I've been sent recently and bought recently. And this month, my plan is to read. And I've got crazy plans this month because the kids are off school. So whenever kids are off on 6-week holidays, I don't get to read as much. So I'm not going for any crazy plans. There's going to be a lot of standalones, a lot of short books. I'm currently reading, or I'm on page 29 of Hyperion. I've never read it before. I'm told it's fantastic. I've not read much sci-fi in the past. I've only read the Red Rising trilogy, only the first three, and Project Hail Mary. Other than that, I've not really touched sci-fi. The reason I'm only on page 29 is because me and Macaulay are meant to be doing a buddy read of this, but he's asked me if I'll wait until he finishes Deadhouse Gates. So I've told him I'll read 25 pages a day, and then he can read 75 pages when he's caught up. But I will say this book is 470 pages long and it's got 6 chapters. 6 chapters. You remember earlier on in the video I told you that I fall asleep at the end of a chapter? I'm not quickest reader ever, so 75 pages would take me like 2.5, 3 hours. I don't know, maybe not that long, but it'd take me a while. So it was difficult for me to figure out where to finish, and thankfully I found a natural pause. You see at the top of that page, it's not the end of a chapter, but it was like bold writing, so I was like, that's a pause, isn't it? So I paused there. It appears to follow a group of people, so 7 people have been sent to this planet, I think it's a planet anyway, called Hyperion. It's set in the far distant future, and it appears that humans have colonized lots of different planets, and they go and travel to different planets. There's a lot of, what's it called? Is it cryogenically frozen? Where they basically freeze people in these chambers so that when they travel for like 6 years to get to these planets and then they wake up, they've not aged, but everyone else around them has. So you've got these 7 people from different walks of life who've been sent to this Hyperion to try and basically save civilization because something's going to happen like imminently if they can't find out the history behind this thing called a Shrike that's on Hyperion. So you've got 7 people, and I think it follows 7 short stories of all these people and how they ended up on this mission and stuff like that. So far so good anyway. Writing's really good. I'm interested. The characters all seem very different. You've got like a priest, you've got a poet, you've got like a warrior, this great badass woman. Different people from different walks of life, so obviously they're all going to be different. They're probably going to find some sort of common ground. They've all got secrets, and I'm just excited to see where it goes because I've been told it's absolutely class. I think I'm also going to read this month. It is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. For 2 reasons. One, because it's short. It's like 320 pages long, and I said this month I need to read shorter books because kids are off, and I'm not going to be able to get through a 1,000-page fantasy book while kids are off school. And I bought it last month, and it just seems really interesting. I've not read anything by S.A. Cosby before, and when I posted this on my last video, loads of people were like, S.A. Cosby just writes absolute masterpieces. So I'm excited for that. I probably will, I say probably, definitely will get into book 2 in the Good Guys trilogy, which is called, I've got it already ready on my Kindle, Hair Today, Porn Tomorrow. So that's book 2 in that trilogy, and I think, not trilogy, in that series, and they're all on Kindle Unlimited as well. So if you want to read them, do it. They're really short. Like I said, they all seem to be about 300 pages long. I think we've done everything that we were supposed to do today. This has been fun. I've really enjoyed it. I feel like I've missed you all. I know it's probably only a week since I did my last video, maybe even less, but it feels like a long time. And I'm going to play tennis tonight. I'm meeting Macaulay, the guy that I do the buddy read with, the guy that's probably going to be in the comments on this video. He's driving all the way over from Derby to come and play tennis with me, so that's exciting. And I'm going to be arranging, for the people that are still watching at this point, and I haven't got bored yet, I'm going to be arranging a meet-up maybe next month at the High Peak bookstore, the place where I did the video, where I went book shopping and stuff. I'm going to arrange that we all, not all of us obviously, because 5,000 people probably won't fit in there, but the people that live relatively local and can be asked to drive there, we're all just going to go book shopping. I thought that'd be fun. We could go book shopping. We can maybe find recommendations for each other and stuff. We're not going to do any recording or anything like that, unless, of course, you want me to record and we can make some sort of mad YouTube video out of it. But I just want it to be a fun day out for us all to come together and geek about books and eat cake and drink coffee or hot chocolate. Their hot chocolates are fantastic. And Louisa, the owner of the shop, is absolutely marvellous as well. So I think I've done talking. Keep an eye out for that. And if you've watched till this point, as always, I love you the most. I will see you in the next one. Mwah.